Hello, everyone. We are back once again for another wonderful cast. This time with a lovely little live cast here. We're going to be watching um, gENTleman and FireLordEthan go against each other live. And then right after that, we're going to be followed up with a cast of the Grand Master match between Legorv Janine and my brain is blinking, Grash. And I'm here with my wonderful co-caster Yosh.
Yeah, I was supposed to analyze, but I just brought some very bad rhymes. In fact, that's all of my prep. I don't actually have that many, so hello.
We'll take
Um,
some rhymes.
I was supposed to maybe look at something, but instead I was looking up the draft, which, due to the fact that the game is being live, was actually pretty easy to find, so I'm glad for that. So yeah, gentleman and FireLordEthan, two people very near and dear to my heart, which does mean that we don't have to fear about any bad plays in the match. I'm pretty certain that they will put on a good show for us. Bob and Redwoods are getting banned. FireLordEthan earning more points in the race to become my favorite player of SpyParty of all time. gENTleman, however, loses some by restricting Terrace. And Highrise will be our last restrict. After which, the players have decided to just go alphabetically, picking up Courtyard, Gallery, Highrise, and a library in that order for the games. This is the gems, so we won't have any multiplication going on. But we do have some amount of spectation game delay, so regale us with some stories or maybe some analytics, my friend.
Yeah, well, I get the hot insider take here as a fellow member of the Ruby division. Um, yeah, I mean Ethan here just certainly is obviously going to look like the favorite here. I mean, has had just a pretty like just downright like overwhelmingly successful performance here. Just three straight wins the past 3 weeks, and is just ahead of everyone else. Gent has one win, two ties, one of them being against myself. Um,
That's not a good sign.
so yeah, it's pretty well considering my current standings. Yeah, it's not the greatest, but um, it's not anything that's it looks bad points wise, obviously, but anything can obviously happen. I would say in general, this division is pretty even overall. There are definitely some imbalances here or there. I think Ethan definitely has the advantage of being like the major pathing sniper of this division. So that will be something we can look forward to seeing how that gets sort of uh, punishing for Jen or potentially even punishing for Ethan here if we low light the spy, for example. Um, the draft, pretty standard. Nothing too crazy. We don't have any occlusion venues, nothing like balcony. Um, only one 3 of X and only one 5 of X. I'd say this is gonna be pretty much just a pure kind of skill fest and very few like gimmicks to be had here.
I mean, Gallery and Library do feel pretty passing to me, but then again, what doesn't?
Yeah, no, there's definitely pathiness to it, and I mean even Courtyard has its little quirks here and there. Um, but it definitely looks like we're not going to see anything too cheesy regarding the venue, at least, such as like shark walks. Obviously we can't have trees anyway because we
Standing
got
behind the
banned.
conversation, a small man finishing everything mission over there.
Yup. We
Swapping off screens that would never happen in this draft.
Yeah. I think the only thing we could have is some pillar tech, but that's only going to be for if we get to the end of this draft here. But
Oh yeah, I believe we do have a chance to finish early. Do you think we will take it all the way, or?
I could honestly see it going either way, but also just Ethan's performance here has been so just decisively in his favor in most of these matches. I wouldn't be shocked if this comes to an early end either.
Well, to an early end, an early start, because the game is already ready, and
That it
we shall
is.
begin. We do
Yeah.
have gentleman rocking up his red dress, and let's start us off in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
All right by the ambo, but he unfortunately walks away from us, and we're just gonna stop here in the middle of convo.
That is some hot conversation positioning and a very hot
And
purloin.
I was gonna say even hotter green purloin here.
I lose
We
this game.
were we were clearly on screen for this, so it could be punished.
The chain is going on. There's at least 2 people in here already, and
Yeah.
potentially 3, but no, someone prefers to pick up the statue instead.
Actually, we are already at 3. Duke rejected before Disney here. So if this keeps going, this is going to be actually really good for Gent. This is going to be almost a
And
free
there she
mission, you could
blows.
argue say. And we are highlight for it. That's no good.
I mean, it only matters how many other people are highlight, which
This is true.
does
Which,
seem to be a very good reduction here. Only 1 extra person.
yep.
So we are down to 4. Not the most pleasant.
And that extra person actually has gotten neutral it. So I think Ethan is really on top of this chain, and we're going to look extra suspicious for just being the one who kind of rejected first and by ourselves in that convo there and immediately walking away.
Be more annoyed by the fact that we are joining another highlight here, probably looking like we are the one flirting, except, well, we're not flirting with the highlight, we're flirting with someone else. A drink take
This is
from
true.
Disney, and we may go for a banana bread. We do actually. I love this play. I love
Yeah, this is
love
great. I
myself
mean,
a
it gives
milkshake.
all 3 of your other suspects here
A
the
chance,
credit.
at least. And well, Duke is the one with the rail, so if they go to the statues, this will be death for Mr. U right here. However, we are at statues ourselves, and 55% on the flirt is a little bit sad because we might need to rush that in the end of the game. As no stranger to not finishing flirts will tell you, this is not a good point to be in. But
Yeah,
green.
we do have enough time that we can time our flirt. We are talking right next to Disney again. I wonder if Ethan notices that and that just makes it look even worse for us, but
And even with that, we do have to banana bread, and I think that will be the thing that kills us here.
oh yeah. We are the only reel for this second one. And we're just shot for it.
The other interesting thing that you may think about here is I don't think Duke had an angle in which he could see that other conversation. So he couldn't have faked for us. But,
Right.
you know, the extraneous activity from Red Dress is enough. By the way, game 2 is on our screens in just a few
Uh,
moments.
I think the spy looks a little familiar. Do you remember them from somewhere, Yash?
There's only 21 characters in the game. There's bound to be some repeats. Maybe you've
Well,
seen her in another set, maybe yesterday. There was a cast yesterday.
maybe. Maybe, just maybe. And, well, we're going to see if gentleman maybe remembers that familiar face from the last game here. Do you want to count us off, Yash?
In 3, 2, 1, playing it. I thought you'd never ask.
Well, I did. And
This time,
we have any.
however, we do have a drink in hand, which is unfortunate.
And actually, we're flirting Irish again. This is actually a really funny coincidence here.
I mean, you say coincidence.
Hey, this is true. Maybe Ethan is actually playing some mind games here with Jet, and you love to see it, you know, just some kind of outside of game kind of plays here. They're definitely interesting to see what people try.
Ooh, and Irish gives us a present by leaving early, allowing us to pick up that second inspect as well. And allowing us to chase. However, this is a very
Oh,
unfortunate backside of the conversation, and we have to just ditch the attempt.
yeah, we do miss the pad, but we aren't highlight, so I think it's not seen. but it's still nothing that you want to
The
see when
laser
you're playing a spy.
does linger on us for a bit, but this is suspicious, but not necessarily a thing that gives us any progress in of itself. However, this second attempt to join the conversation, which was also a little bit suspicious, might trigger some alarms.
And we hit a white contact as Toby's offering to us,
And we're bugging.
and we're bugging.
And that hand seemed completely on screen. However, it does not take, so no harm, no foul. Unfortunately
Yep.
for Ethan, he will have to take that one back again. Some point throughout the
Yeah.
future. But we're supposed to talk about mind games from the beginning of this game. As someone who has partaken in many a mind game in my own time, usually it doesn't work because the enemy just doesn't see it. However, in this particular case,
Yeah.
it's not even important.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even I feel like I've definitely seen that. Even with those kind of players that could be notorious for that. I know Minioric has played a few sets where he's played the same character for the entire set or for several games in a row.
Ooh,
Dougie's known to spell things and just doesn't get noticed because people, I mean, it's such a niche thing to pay attention to sometimes that it's just like you don't think about it when you're there in the moment.
this is
Regardless,
such a suspicious join by our eventual corpse.
yeah,
Oh well.
oh well.
And in the
But
red.
regardless, that is going to get a sweep here on the board for Ethan. Um, it is Gent's pick two, so that's not what you want to see when you are here. But
But what you want to see is game 3, right?
what
And
you want to
this
see is game three.
guy doesn't seem familiar at all, actually. I remember them
No,
having a different color. Oh
this
well,
is true.
might just be me. Either way, let's begin game 3 in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
ST looks familiar though, but wrong spy for that.
That was supposed to be my line. Hold up. Why are you still in the script?
I mean, look,
I
just
mean,
because
the
I'm not
topic
playing the
of
game doesn't mean I can't purloin.
the topic of mind games is right there, so I suppose I can't blame you too much for noticing that.
Exactly. Um, yeah, Tap though, fastest character in the game, pretty understandable pick as the spy, and it's pretty much the main justification behind Tex's Uramba here is that Taft is just much more valuable as a spy here, being so fast. And
However, on the
Gents,
spy side, pretty good blocker for those statues. Might
that
force a few
too.
things
And in the
from
red.
Ethan here.
Unfortunately, this is kind of the one venue where even with a good blocker, it's really not that good just because you get such a wide view at the statues from either end. Um, but we have hit our contact here, and we've gotten one low light off, who is at statues, unfortunately for Gent, but we do have a couple highlights here. 3 now. Um,
I mean, because
we
we
have
got a banana bread this early on, we do not care much for the people who got left out. Instead, we will give a lot more crap about the people who go to statues afterwards, such as, well, us.
us and our ST.
Waiting a little bit
Who?
to pick up the statue to let he put the statue down to let us get the double inspect here. But
Oh, and we're
we
not
will
gonna
not go
get
for it.
it. I don't know how much I love this because we just are gonna get the suspicion for the inspect now without the actual mission,
I
and
did
we're gonna
not
have to
plan
go
it,
back a second
however.
time.
This is a pretty cool little
Yeah, that doesn't hurt.
trick. And well, remember how we talked about mind games not being noticed? So few people time at these days that it almost is a mind game. Once you notice it, you're dead immediately, but
Yeah,
And in
no,
the
for
red.
sure. And I mean, I think it's something that kind of in the general meta has been resolved as something that you don't necessarily watch for unless like the person that you're suspecting is potentially doing it. And we've let off some fake lights or fake low lights here, I think, for that second one.
Second inspect for the purloiner. That is unfortunate. But we still have a chance. Maybe I would prefer a little bit less progress in the coming few seconds, but on the other hand, we do have
Yeah, I
to not get
don't
shot.
think. Yeah, we were unfortunately just kind of obligated to take that briefcase there on our way to our ST, because I'm sure that if we ignore it, we probably don't live, I would guess, against a pathing sniper. And so I don't blame Gent for going for the case there, but it's just unfortunate that we get credited with a fifth mission.
I'm just gonna claim that we got shot for trying to stand between General and Queen, so
Yeah, also an
mind
understandable
games
shot.
playing in favor of the sniper here, who goes up 3-0.
Yeah, as we go
Now
into game 4.
trying to steal away the enemies. Venues, the enemies double, as a matter of fact. And not repeating the spies this time around. So let's start us off in 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
We're going to go for a chaos bug, and we hit it. And we're not highlight.
Do.
Oh boy, we've got a game.
I've played enough Kotyat games to say that this is not necessarily a game win right here, but it is a pretty likely scenario.
It sure helps, I think, is the best way you could put that. It's not a guarantee, but boy, does it help.
And
I mean, we've got 2.5 missions.
Like, we just need to finish this flirt and get a banana bread off. And the quicker we do it, the less suspicious we are in the eyes of the sniper, because surely we can't be done that earlier.
Surely.
I mean, we're not even highlighted for statues, so...
Right, yeah. I think, using a rush here to really, seal the deal on Gent's own double here against him, I think that's a really powerful play here. It just, like, on the mental game here, you're gonna take someone's double, completely sweep them back on it, and with a rush that's just so disrespectful like this. And we're in mission countdown. We're not even highlight. We're not even being looked at. And just like that, Ethan's gonna take it.
We almost got highlighted, but unfortunately the laser wasn't fast enough. And well, 3 greens is also a pretty good way to continue off this game. The quicker you get the flirts, the quicker you finish the game, and well, that green on the banana bread means that not only it is let off slightly earlier, but also you are not talking, which is also pretty helpful. That's it.
Yeah, I mean,
Chant already -2. That is pretty scary.
Yeah, especially when you're going into the favorite double here. It's scary. Yeah, I think scary is an apt way to put it. But we're gonna see how Gent can respond on the spy side on gallery. It's Queen here, far away from our Amba, but right by the books. We might see a little cheese here at the start.
Or the Queen might move right towards us in 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
And she is gonna move right towards us. We are gonna do a quick pivot to our ST though, because she stopped quite right at the top of there. 29% white flirt.
And no book cheese. And the sights. However, we are in a pretty good position. Look at us, almost not seen on the laser. Gonna try to benefit off of it, but unfortunately the ambassador is not looking like they want to get bugged. I mean,
yeah,
aim.
that's fair. I think we needed to go for that bug just a little bit earlier when Amba stopped right next to us.
I think what gENTleman was scared of is getting a bug with a different hand, which would stick through pearls and salmon and actually be quite visible, unlike
That is
the rest of
true.
us. Quick little visit to the statues instead. Pretty nice little bit of progress. 29% on the flirt, which is our main gatekeep. One of the two here on gallery. The banana bread also not let off just yet.
It does net us a very early highlight, though. A little, not necessarily what you want to see when you're the spy here, but obviously, I mean, plenty of people inspect. It's not exactly a game ender here. Do had our
But
second flirt for 46, though.
it does make all of our cute bug attempts a little bit worse. However, this is not going to be a cute bug attempt, that's going to be a cute purloin. The fade is on our screen. Does Ethan believe it?
And we're down to 3.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's
I mean, we
3, and
still
we're
have
the
to
lone
lose
highlight. Yeah,
a second set of statues, so that probably would be our demise. However, there are plenty of ways to get killed. This particular scenario. We are just gonna pretend to be a less suspicious person by doing just about nothing while Alice is moving every which way with a book in her hand. Disney is suspiciously reading. Was
and
our green?
does no, he does not. Okay. I think if you're Gent, you really need to see the other two start to do something, like some inspect, some bug credit.
Ooh. I love this. Ethan
Oh
just
boy.
juggling the lights here between Disney and Alice based on that little flick,
Banana bread.
that little
We
stop
go for the
by Disney.
fake and we're shot immediately. Ethan just incredibly confident that that was the white purloin there.
Well, I mean,
And
might as well. You do have it down to 3, and you really only have one big suspect because the other two have been lowlights at some point, intentionally lowlight as well. So I think at that point you just take the gamble, and if it's not queen, then you're gonna accept it and move on.
yeah, I mean when you're up 4-0, that's definitely a fair shot to take there. It's pretty solid risk versus reward. But we are going to move on to game 6 here. FireLordEthan still riding a full sweep. Going to be twinned here, starting all the way at the bottom of the venue. Nowhere near any kind of missions right now.
Staring into the distance instead. Or just the door, I suppose, in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Nebula has spoiled it a little bit, but we are gonna move back into the gallery. No wonders why.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like any of our missions are in there or anything, right?
I mean, there's this little thing called adding time. Possible over
Exactly.
out there instead.
We're just going to immediately go and hit a green transfer, though.
Green transfer at the green book by a green person. It all makes sense.
Can't wait for the blue action test, the other bookcase here.
Might have to go into the settings. A little bit unfortunate to do it during the game. However, a fingerprint is pretty useful.
Yeah, and we are highlight for that kind of late stop because of Amba there, I think.
Man,
Could also just be for a print, but
briefcases are annoying.
that they are.
Are gonna hit yet another green, this time on a red target, but we are still green, so it all still makes sense. Basically, what I'm saying is that you're not allowed to white test the flirt.
Color theory is an amazing thing, isn't it?
I love it.
I mean, this is the art venue, so of course you should. We're going to green test yet again for a time out here.
See, I told you the watch checks are important. And, well,
It's true.
Sniper's time is just gonna get slightly slower.
Ooh.
We step off the pad, so we have to nudge. A little bit unfortunate when we are the highlight in that region, and we are.
Oh, we are shot for it.
I believe that was actually not a blue test and a black test instead, so
Yeah.
slightly suboptimal here from our main man, FireLordEthan. But, gentlemen, finally
Green tests the shot.
picking it up and getting themselves a point. We are yet to see if a point is enough, because spectation game delay is in fact in effect, so the next game, I presume, is going to be slightly longer, which is going to be a pretty fun thing to talk about, I suppose.
Just say, well, while we wait for that, though, I will point out something that I feel like I've noticed whenever I've spectated Gent sets. I feel like I noticed that Gent is actually really good at reverse sweeping into a victory or a tie or whatever result is needed. So this could actually be the start of a streak here, potentially. I have no idea. I mean, we've got, at least two more games to see before we could say anything decisive about this set, but anything could still happen for sure.
You were saying that once you hit 4-0, you kind of stop. You kind of start taking risks. Do you actually? Because well, let's start myself off by saying that I never let myself get into that position, but does the current scoreline in a set really matter for you, or?
I think it can depend. I think I feel like it also depends on who you're playing against, because I feel like it depends on if the person you're playing against is really good at punishing those high risk maneuvers, or if it's just a really solid sniper that is going to lock you down if you try and keep playing solid, and if you actually need to just break out and do something someone could call crazy. And maybe that's a random chaos bug, maybe that's a really aggressive early purloin, who knows. But we're going to see what Gent decides to do with this second gallery spy game here in a second. um, Playing as Salmon, red dresses are ST. And we're going to head off into that game in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
God, I love it when I don't have to say words. And we
Yeah,
are going
right.
to take a little bit of a long AI control, but that is also a very long and windy path.
Yeah, I don't think it's seen though. I mean, if it is, well, it's AI, so there's nothing wrong with it.
Wait, are we getting the fabled
Oh
Martini game?
no.
God, I love
Oh
this.
boy.
Let's go!
Oh dear.
Let's go. So,
How's the weather?
hello, chat. More importantly, hello, YouTube commenters who have randomly got recommended that game. First of all, I'm sorry that you got to listen to me casting and not any of the other amazing casters that we have, as in amazing casters that we have. So, what's happening on your screen? There are some players recently with a new, somewhat sniper style called pathing, where instead of looking at the actions that the characters are doing in the game, you are just watching how they move. Because the game is a very stuck in amber uh, kind of ordeal, we do have a few algorithms that have been devised by those players to really predict how people move around the venue. And usually it does result in quite a few lowlights. So the natural way to counter that, just don't take control and allow yourself to get moved by the AI until you get that lowlight. Thankfully for Ethan,
We do not get that low light though.
they don't take the bait. But unfortunately for gentlemen, that playstyle, well, that counter play does require to spend quite a lot of time on it if you want it to pay off, and eventually you will have to take control if you don't want to time out, which both of the casters have heard a thing or two about that, so
Timeouts, they exist. They're
they
uh
will.
they're a mythical, fabled thing that I've heard of a long time ago. But
They would
you
never
know,
happen to us.
no, goodness, no.
Never.
Especially not when we add 45 seconds to our match here.
I mean, that is a very important thing to do when you're wasting half your time on a, well, mirage, I suppose, on a chance to completely flounder your opponent. And
This is
if
true.
we're gonna charm our steal like that, I mean, the game's not over yet. We do still have 2 minutes to go. With our flirt done, the only thing, well, almost done, the only thing remaining is to find a double agent out of the big time checks, I suppose. And yeah, that's going to be our flirt here. Book in hand. I think I know what our third is. I'm not sure what the fourth is yet, but
Yeah, I assume it just BB. I would guess we're probably going to do something with this book with only a minute 30 or a minute 20 on our clock here. I feel like I don't see us inspecting or doing fingerprints at this point. And unless we get a bug handed to us, I feel like it's probably going to be a purloin, I'd guess, or a swap.
I mean, an interesting benefit of the whole not taking control thing is you get more brain to look at the party, to spectate for things, because brain resources are limited, and not just on the sniper side, but on the spy side as well. In fact, if gentlemen can remember where the prints are to get them immediately and to rush them, that would be a very powerful finish. However, we still don't have a banana bread. This purloin is going to be green, which is very helpful for us, but I don't seem to see the double agent. They are...
Oh, he's all the way at the front. That's the worst place he can be.
Ooh, that
We
bug,
do get a
however, is
bug,
very
though,
cool.
and it's not seen.
The
We're
hand
not even
is...
highlight, and this purloin's going to go off in a second here.
The hand is on screen as we are zooming in, but that does not work. And the purloin is still going, so we can't just go out there and pretend that we are not involved in that in the slightest.
Oh,
Wow.
and it hits, and we shoot Queen.
I assume what
And
happened there is, well, FLE is not quite sure who's going to get the overtime, who's going to trigger it. So once you see it, the first person on your mind who can go for it is Queen, who is inspecting a statue with their back to us. So they could have just swapped as well for double progress. Pretty
yeah.
neat little finish, and that bug is just... oh boy. That's so cool.
Yeah,
It's
and just
on
that's
screen as well. The hand is visible if you look in the corner of your eye, but looking in the corner of your eye is not necessarily a thing that you usually do.
this is true. And I want to point out, even with that purloin there, that holds an even nastier trap. If Toby, takes even longer to find someone to take a drink, that hangs on overtime. Queen still is highly suspicious for a green swap there, even. And that's just a horribly unlucky trap set by the AI there for Ethan.
I mean, AI taketh half of your time and giveth you a win. That's a
This
good
is
trade.
true.
Just don't take
Yeah,
control.
I'd take it any day. But I'm sure Gent will too. But Ethan is going to try and take back a spy win for himself here. Isn't going to close out the set here on his own double, but we'll hopefully try and at least get to a tie point here. He's going to play as general all the way here in the bottom left corner of the venue, where a lot of people are actually kind of lingering here. But we're going to see how he plays that out in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
That's
Oh, I
actually
see a bug
interesting.
setup.
Well, sure is one. A little bit of a shaky movement all around.
Oh, and her
Speaking about
SG
packing
lands
statue.
beautifully.
But there's T joining us as well. AI giveth you a win and taketh away the next game, I suppose. Are
Well,
seen with a
Oh boy, yeah.
And the green purloin with an immediate leave. That, I
We're
think,
pulling out all the stops.
looked good enough for gentlemen to assume that we just left
Oh,
instead
but
of
this won't. This won't look
purloining
good.
as well. But yeah, the list is taken.
Oh, and we try and land back in, and
And the sniper is shaken because we were zoomed in on that list. We were trying to figure out what the hell just happened. So that whole little thing did not quite get caught. It was seen when we were zooming out, but
Banana bread.
if the laser is moving,
oh,
it's harder to see things.
our DA bails on us too, and we aren't low lit, so we're not out of, we're not in the clear yet. And that fake BB is just going to give more information to Gent here about what's going on. We've got to hit at least 2 more flirts here close by Seek.
What I would love here is just not moving for the rest of the game, if we can afford it. And I think we
Yeah.
can afford... Oh, we cannot afford it. Crash sad, the I do be taken.
Oh boy.
Just a lot of unfortunate things happening at the same time. The DA bailing, the ST bailing. Gallery is a very annoying venue for this particular reason. The 2 conversations where you can get a banana bread and flirts usually are just so spread out that movement between them becomes a big ol' occasion, a journey even, a voyage of sorts. And all of those movements are gonna be seen and perceived by the sniper because people moving
Speaking of
around usually does mean that they are the spy.
speaking of movements, we're gonna do the same movement we did before and miss our entry in the convo.
Oh, gentlemen,
And we are
cannot believe it.
Highlit. Uh-oh. What looked like a really strong start with 2 really good hardtails is now looking very scary for us here.
Man, Wheels is a very annoying person to have in that conversation because that circle of his is just not aligned necessarily to the way you would perceive Wheels to be taking spots. And
Oh,
yeah,
and we're just shot.
the first talk gets us shot. I mean, I would argue for shooting sooner, but I suppose a gentleman is just trying to play a little bit safe as someone behind in the match because what if they just don't do anything in timeout? Like, just let them lol.
Right? Yeah, I'm perfectly understandable. Well,
But
Jen has
yeah,
pulled back 3-5. That's, still
I've
behind 1, but it's looking a lot better
I've
here.
lost a casted game like that literally yesterday against Lavenuk.
Well,
Those conversations, you try to join them, but they are busy, and once you commit to joining the conversation, you cannot abort it at all.
yeah, and
Because
I mean,
it looks hella suspicious, and well, the way to
yeah, and
sell it was also pretty bad.
the first time we were kind of able to stop in a way that looked sort of like we were in the conversation there, enough that it's not noticed. But that second time, it's just we got completely blocked out, and that just kind of spells game over for you on gallery if your sniper's paying attention to it. But
Okay, we're moving over to the singles, and that's actually our only played restrict for the first game, as I believe gentleman has. No, FireLordEthan has restricted Highrise, and gentleman is going
gentleman
to
picked it.
pick it.
Yep.
So let's see Sick trying to thrive in his natural environment on Highrise in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
We do opt for the swap instead of the microfilm, and we decide to have fingerprint off, which, as I'm sure we've all talked about, I think that would be the most common, if not second most common, behind the purloin being taken out instead of the fingerprint. But standard setup here.
Yeah, pretty much. And a pretty standard AI control game. However, as we note that we are stuck in the conversation.
We
Take
are low
control.
lit for a path.
It always pays off, guys.
We
I
weren't
know
even AI controlling that time.
I know Martini hates it and wants to leave the community because of this exact play, but if this play is bad, why does it keep working? Oh boy, that is not good for Ethan.
Oh boy.
I mean, at least he does have a buffer. He does have one more game pair in the lead. So if this is also a game that you lose, you will get the opportunity to look at the replays. And I think once you can let them cheese you, but if they cheese you a second time, it becomes a pattern and you have to look out for that in the future. So I think for the last venue, Ethan will be vigilant for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
In the
You're gonna hit our
meantime,
second flirt. 96. Almost being a very
actually know if they're highlight or lowlight. They don't
Banana
see
bread.
those highlights and lowlights at all. So gentlemen may think that they are looking very suspicious, although I mean they haven't done much necessarily.
This
And
is true.
lock up. I've lost more games that I can count on my, like, at least one of my hands, uh, due to exactly that, being lowlit and being very scared of catching a highlight for things that I should have just, when I instead should have just played the video game and get my win.
Yeah, and
It's actually trying to play. There's a bug at the
I will say something to note is we now have two different people who have a real BB and a fingerprint. Oh wait, fingerprints off. Just kidding. Um,
I mean,
my error there. I mean, we just need to find a third mission here and a floor.
yes, as a matter of fact, Nebula can will look at that because that was a pretty weird little movement by our corpse in the end here. After books, she does something weird. At least it looked weird on the snipe.
It looks like she just kind of bumps into Kane.
Yeah, that little bump feels very, very weird. And we're going to the center statues after already inspecting once, so trying to look less suspicious by over-completing as a spy would. Unfortunate for Pearls, but very fortunate for our spy, as gentleman is now just one game off, and if we all know anything about the game, is that a sniper win should be easier to get.
This is true, but yet again we have a Queen Taft pair here. Horrible, just horrible pairing. But we are on the other side of it. We are going to be playing Queen here, and Ethan will be trying for a spy win here. He's going to opt for Purloin off instead of Fingerprint, and we're going to see how that plays out in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I'm a little bit bemused. Oh, right, because you have to keep one of swap and transfer on. Right.
Right, right,
Always forget that part. But
yeah,
yeah, a little bit more of a slower playstyle, a little bit less of a panic button setup, where you can just click all of the buttons and force overtime. Instead, here, just a little bit more suspicion spread out around the party, and maybe a way to get your clean victory past this sniper if you have a good memory.
yeah. Purloin can definitely be nice for the sake of a panic, but
But
more for more safe shots here. And we're going to go for bug, and we are going to take a highlight for it. So we're at technically two, one and two halves of a mission here.
that does sound like mathematics to me, I do agree. We are gonna finish
And
one of those halves, and that means we're only half a mission away. So, I mean, we're probably shot for a fingerprint if we believe in the bug. So this
I
is
would
the
imagine.
interesting question here. I
Subtle
wouldn't
print if we're going to get away with it.
I would really love to get a fake away just to make sure that
Oh, and we hit the green.
this is not legal. He keeps hitting those greens.
Oh boy.
You hit greens. I know that
Oh.
I can't hit greens, so I suppose I know what I'm doing my next week.
In 2 weeks to deal with all of these green tests. Oh, just I mean, really good display of that green right there in that game. Just
I
clean win.
actually really like this bug because the return animation is a snap. So the snap of your other hand will hide the little lean on the bug a little bit.
Right.
Because you expect the snap. So
Yep.
the snap back is not as visible. Pretty cute little play by Ethan.
No, for sure. But we're gonna head over to library here. Do some, I would say light reading, but I feel like this match has gotten tense enough. It's definitely not light anymore. I will point out we're Alice. If there's anyone that's known for some pillar cheese, it's Alice here. Because you
On the
three,
booth.
2. Oh. Uh-oh. But yeah, we're
Playing.
gonna see how this goes in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
God, I love technical issues. By the
Yes,
way,
they're great.
the AI control is here and is gonna take a little bit as we are bouncing every which way. I think that was a second 180 turn that we've taken, not the third. But instead we are gonna get spewed right next to our seduction target in the end, so that doesn't quite matter.
Yep. And we're definitely not gonna hold it for a few minutes, which I definitely like not hanging around for about 2 minutes in like AI control when it's a 5 mission venue, even if you have, over 4 minutes on the clock.
Another 180 from our spy right there, but this time around it's intentional. I assume just trying to get that cooldown a little bit lower. Because
No.
further you are away, the more interested the seduction target becomes in you. And this cooldown is just about to disappear as well. Here it goes, and here's our second flirt, 68%. Just about nice, but not quite. Just need one more, and we'll be done, however.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go hang out over here by the edge here, and we're just gonna walk right back, I assume. No, we're gonna walk past, but our ST walks past or rolls right past too, I should say. And we are,
I mean, I'm not against it.
yeah,
Do missions early, do missions often. That banana bread is green like every single other action I've seen him take this entire game. I mean, this entire set. The flirts this
yeah.
game were white, so it's not necessarily the biggest thing to write home about, but FireLordEthan really picking up on those reactions.
Pick up the case. We don't pick up a fingerprint with it, though. Fortunately, we're just gonna go flirt with not our seduction target here at the other far statue pad there, or
I
bust pad.
do love flirting with statues. Apparently, statues have better reactions to to the sound of my voice than any like actual flesh and blood people. So our first inspect is going to be a white, the second one is also going to be a white, and the third one is also going to be a white. I don't remember what the first one actually was, but you believe me, so it doesn't matter. We are being marked suspicious for a good reason. That is a mission completed right on our eyes, and we are gonna stand behind that pillar. Try and get away with a bug as the investor passes through.
It looks Yeah, it looks clean, maybe. I'm not totally sure here, but I mean, we have 4 missions. We're not dead,
Or
but
done. We will need the 5th.
we are also not done, is the more important part here. Ethan may just be waiting to see some kind of indication of a 5th mission from us before we kind of are just dead here. But we could also just be getting away with things. Just gonna instantly check our watch though. Minute 30 on the clock. And plenty of options, 3 of which are hard tells, not necessarily what you want to see in that last minute. The other one is fingerprint, which I think we've lost our chance for.
There are 3 highlights at the party. We are one of them, which is a little bit unfortunate. But on the other hand, there is still playing the position, as they would say in chess.
Yeah.
Alice picks up the book. We'll probably put it back because, as a highlight, we cannot afford to go away with a
Yeah.
microfilm. Let's see. I think it's a little bit late in the game to start remembering where the prints are gonna be, but we are staying behind that pillar. Unfortunately, a little bit seen, thanks to the pleasant outline on the sniper view, and the
Oh, we
action
avoid
test is going to
purloin.
be wide. 8 seconds. 7. The list is visible. Is visible.
We're not taking the
However,
shot.
Ethan gets cheesed. You warned us about it, and there we go.
Yeah, we just failed to take the shot on that purloin there. Yeah, just must have missed at least one of those missions there. Didn't. Yeah, that lack of a shot is gonna be a little scary because now, I mean, you've secured the draw here, but now you're looking at, you have to spy on a 5-8 venue here against, someone who is a decent sniper in their own right. It's definitely looking like a draw is the favored result right now, I will say.
I mean, we are playing the spies. The spies less favored to win, so I would imagine a draw is just around the corner. However, Ethan is spawning right next to the investor for our last game of the evening. That bug was actually pretty cool. Do love it. I do love the bugs in this game. They are much better than mine. However, I don't bug, so I would never.
Yeah.
Last game
but
of the set, 5-6. We are playing for at least a marble. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And that amber's gonna go straight away from us.
We didn't want to take that anyway, right? Because it's just on the
Probably not.
laser.
But I will say this is looking like, it's obvious it's headed towards a draw potentially, but I mean, A, gentleman just won a spy game, so clearly it can be done. But B, more importantly, this was Ethan's pick for a single. So you'd imagine there must be some plan.
I mean, Ethan is doing a non-zero amount of things here. We are picking up a fingerprint on the briefcase. We are picking up a flirt on the statue pad as well. We are moving right next to the ambassador. That is a very, very weird path, and that is
And
going to be
that's
a
a
very, very clean shot. Ah, unfortunate.
And that's a tie party.
Indeed. Haven't seen that one in the league yet, right, Aiko?
No, what's a tie party? I don't know what those are.
Either way, a bit unfortunate for our Ethan gamer, but gentleman, coming up with one of those comebacks that he was apparently so famed for. Pretty nice little game, pretty nice little singles, a set of singles from both players. And yeah, GG all around.
Yeah, and suddenly, with that result there, we've got Ethan coming
Ethan
out
still
of week
first.
4 with 7 points, still ahead by
Never.
2 on second place. And we have a 3-way tie with 5 points here, all with Psycho and Scarney here with 2 wins, a tie, and a loss. And then Gent is going to have 2 wins now, or sorry, 1 win and 3 ties. And then, yeah, 4, 3, 3, and 0. here coming out of week 4 for Ruby. So
Looks like a lot of trouble is brewing up in the coming weeks.
certainly we're gonna have to see how that plays out in the next few weeks and who's gonna come out on top, who's gonna come out in the bottom, and well, who's just gonna stay in Ruby for next season. But
Probably
GG's both
someone
players.
will. So I actually don't recall how we're doing this. I believe we do have a second match. I believe we are gonna take a little bit of a break before that. Is that correct?
I believe so, yeah.
So let us move into a little bit of a waiting time. Just one more library game's worth of time before we move on to the Grandmaster game.